Hi and welcome to this video. In the previous couple of videos, we have learned how to combine data frames by concatenating. In this video, we will learn how you can perform aggregation and summarization on your data frames in Pandas. So let's start. First of all, we will just load the Pandas library. And then we will load Big Mart sales data. And that is how our data set looks like. Now the basic aggregation that you can perform on any dataset is you can calculate things like sum, mean, median, mode, and so on. So we have a numerical column here called item MRP. Let's try to aggregate this item MRP. So the total sum of this column is this number. Then if you find the mean price, then you will use the mean function, and that's 140.99. You can calculate the median by median function, and that's 143. So the mode is something that we calculate for categorical columns. The reason for that is mode is the category that has the highest frequency. And here you can see that outlet type is a categorical variable. So we can find the mode of outlet type, and that's supermarket type 1. So this is the category which has the highest frequency in this column. Let's just confirm that at this point in the course you are already familiar with the value counts function. So when we run the value counts function on outlet type column, you will see that supermarket type 1 has the highest frequency, which is 5577. And that's why supermarket type 1 is the mode of this column. Now, other than that, these single individual statistics that we calculate for each column, Pandas also provides you a describe function. The describe function essentially calculates a summary that consists of similar things, but only for the numerical data in your data frame. So these are all numerical columns in a data set. And the describe function gives you basic summary like count, mean, standard deviation, minimum value, quartile values, and the maximum value. For example, for the item MRP column, the minimum value is 31.29 and the maximum value is 266.88. And other than that, you can also find how many missing values are there in all the columns. So this is something that we have seen previously, which is you say the data frame name, which is data, and then apply isNA function, and then you apply sum function. As you can see, we have missing values around 1400 in the item weight column and around 2400 in the outlet size column. Now the next thing that comes to my mind is, what if you want to group the data based on categories of one column? And now this is something, if you're coming from either an Excel or SQL background, you will know that group by is an operation that you use a lot in your day-to-day data analysis task. And this is something that's available in Pandas too. Let's just see the data frame one more time. So this is the initial data frame. Suppose we want to group by all of these rows based on item type, whether it's a dairy, as you see here, soft drinks, meat, fruits and vegetables, and so on. So we will use group by function and pass in the column name item type. So we call this D when you run this piece of code. It's a generic group by object. Let's just have a basic understanding of how D looks like. So we do here D.first and run this code. So this is how the first entry of D looks like. These are the buckets, which are essentially the item types, like baking goods, breads, breakfast, canned dairy, and so on. And each bucket, all the rows have been sorted. So if you just run a loop over D, you'll be able to find this entire bucket list, and in each list, we'll find how many rows are there. But we are not going to do that here, because it will take some time. It will just give a long output, but let's go to the next step, where we are going to use group by that we just created. So what I want to do now, I want to find what is the mean value for item MRP column based on the groups that I created. So I'm going to run this piece of code. Let's run this. So what does that mean? All the rows of all the different items that come under the baking goods category, the mean of the item MRP is 126.38. Similarly, for breakfast food, you see 141.78, and canned and frozen food, so you get the idea. You just want one column, therefore you are going to here give the column name as an extended parameter using the square brackets. So when you run this code, these values are the mean item price for each item category. So group by is something we use a lot in real-world data analysis, and a lot of people who come from SQL background and Excel background find this very familiar. Similarly, just like we did mean, you can also find out the maximum value. So you'll write the same code, but this time you will use the max function. Let's run this piece of code. And you will see the maximum item MRP for baking goods is 265.55. And for bread is around 263. And for starchy food, it's 263. So you get the idea. So this was grouping your entire data frame on a single column, which was item type. Thank you for watching this video.